Hey everyone, Imran, Web Squadron, late night Sunday live chat. I was gonna go live earlier, but I started working on a code snippet yesterday, and I'm releasing it tomorrow. And I'm pretty excited about this snippet because I'm taking something that I worked on 6 months ago and I revisited 5 months ago, but it was the same kind of method. I'm not really telling you a lot here. And I felt like it was a bit of a groundbreaking way in how I was handling a certain topic. Even still, I know some people still found it a bit complicated or restrictive in how they have to work with it. It was really simple to use and work with, by the way. Really simple and easy. Hey, Sol, how you doing? Really easy to use, but some people still found like there's quite a bit you have to do. I've now found a way of how to basically generate what you're going to need to use. And I was going to make it even better. I had it all worked out yesterday, and then I refined it this morning, just a few formatting tweaks. And then I had an idea mid-morning, afternoon time, mid-morning, to make it even better. And I started making it better, like really unbelievable. Like this was going to be, I felt like, the generation tool to end all generation tools, right? Seriously. And then I came a cropper and it started affecting what I had polished off yesterday. And that's when I was like, nah, roll back. I want to record and get this video out. If I ever crack this other little extra bit, then I'll do a version 2. But for now, let's just get this version 1 out kind of thing. Right, I'm just going to jump in and answer some of the questions that are coming in. I've just got to quickly copy something over, so just bear with me, Blizzard. By the way, how are you, Blizzard? I've just got to quickly add something in here. So when I go live, I have to... Oh, that's the wrong one. I have to enter in a URL to ensure that any comments that come in, if I want to show them on screen, I have to drop in this URL, and that should now work. There we go. Cool. That's now working. That's a free Chrome extension, by the way, and I know I'm going to do a video one day that's going to clarify and explain a lot of this. By the way, is the sound and video quality okay? If not, do let me know. There's not a lot I can do about it, but do let me know anyway. So Blizzard's question is, I had a question, why taxonomy for loop grid so bad in native Elemental? You are right. It's very... it's not moved on much since it came out. And when it came out, it was like, oh, finally, taxonomy filter. And it came out in July 2023. However, since then, no, it wasn't July 2023. It wasn't July 2023. No, it was July 2023. And it felt like we were missing a trick a little bit with it. And it's not really moved on a lot since then. However, I did like a load of videos on how you could customize it kind of thing. Now, WP Grid Builder, in my opinion, or Grid Builder, is better than Jet Smart Filter, in my opinion. If I'm going to be really honest, I would invest in that Grid Builder for your taxonomy filtering. But I did a load of videos on how you could actually use or refine what parents you show, what children you show, control the order, control the layout. So you could go into like a checkbox style and have accordion style. I did loads of videos on that. So I've got tons of code snippets. So go check those out if you have not seen them already. Deepak, please mention some working tips and tricks for beginners who find their starting clients, basically client hunting process for their initial stage. So I've got a video coming out in a couple of weeks, which is going to clarify a lot. No, not a couple of weeks. I think it comes out next week. So I don't want to say too much about it right now, Deepak, but what you really want to be thinking about is whatever method you use to find clients, okay, you got to make sure you've got a decent portfolio behind you. So if they say, well, can you share the URL of some example websites you've worked on? Or at least have 3 or 4 example pages. It doesn't have to be a full-blown website. It could just be a home page that shows what you're capable of. And even if you're one of those people that doesn't actually build, but you use themes and templates, fine. Just use themes and templates. Just showcase what you are capable of, so they get a flavor of what you could do. Sol says he watched my studio setup video and noticed you have a 49-inch monitor. Yep, that's over here. My normal monitor, my main monitor, the monitor I love is here, but my 49-inch goes all the way there. How do you manage the recording screening? Do you use your second monitor? No. So when I'm recording, I record off this screen. So this is my 3840 by 2160, my full 4K monitor. So when I'm recording full screen, I'm using that particular monitor. This one here is my slippage monitor. So if I'm working and I want to have a YouTube video or my emails or other documents and stuff, they're over there. So I might have a YouTube video playing, but it's over there. But when I'm working, when I'm on my stepper, so I'm stepping and exercising as I'm working, then I use my 49-incher because it goes all the way there. So when I'm stepping over here, I can see the monitor. But I use because just to let you know, mate, Sol, when I was using my 49-incher, right? If you watch the video, hopefully I made this clear, right? The main monitor is 3840 times 2160, full 4K, right? This monitor, they called it 4K, but it was never really 4K. I realized afterwards, I started going, hold on. It's 3840 in width, right? But it's 1080 in height. So when I was I even had lines on my screen. I had these lines I did with a crayon, so that when I was recording, I would size up my screen to get what I would call the right 16:9 dimension. But when I was recording, because it's 3840 by 1080, when you scale it to show it as like a 4K or a 1080p video, when you're doing it, the screen resolution was not proper sharp. I used to notice it. I think a few other people did. It was never proper crystal clear sharp. There was what I call a little bit of noise, and it irritated me. But then the minute I got this, totally changed how my background screens now look. Old Fat Trucker, I'm being concerned with WordPress Future. All my new projects I'm building independently. Look, I would not be worried. WordPress is here for the long run. In fact, I would even argue that if WordPress has a short shelf life, you could argue every website, CMS, or any other company is going to have a short shelf life then. Because if WordPress suddenly struggles under the onslaught of AI, then why wouldn't Wix or Squarespace, Webflow, and every other system out there, why would they be any more protected? In fact, WordPress, in my opinion, is the strongest out of all of the systems out there in terms of community coverage and the impact, so I can't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Hey, Raheem, you can come in if you want. No, why would I see your phone?
It's in my house.
Yeah, so you sure it's not in your bedroom? You sure it's not upstairs? Are you sure it's not in your bum bag? Or your rucksack? Check your bum bag then. Check your rucksack. Blizzard says, you thought about make first then approach for gaining clients. I was thinking about how to apply create experience, ad, use their website photos, then approach. Right. Yes. So I would say that you're just going to create a template, like a page, right? A homepage. And then all you do is pop their logo in, or just put the name. Doesn't even have to be the logo image. It just could be just a heading with their name of the company, right? If you want to put some example images from either you've managed to get from them or from Facebook, if it's freely available, just use them. Or pop in some stock photos that link into their business. Do that, and then let them know. And then send it to them, because then what you're now saying is, here's a good style of website I think it's going to work for you and increase your coverage and make you more approachable, and make you look far more professional, especially compared to other companies that only ever use Instagram or Facebook. Like my wife and her sister, they were looking at this lady in Leicester who makes cakes, but she only has a Facebook page, no website. And even that is very scarce, not very well populated. And she has Instagram, where she just takes loads of photos of whenever she's baking cakes. But again, there's no website. You know, it always becomes tricky. Well, how do I contact them, and where do I go, and can I DM them, and, you know, all this. It always feels, you know, like piecemeal in how things are put together. That's how I've found with so many companies that are just purely like Facebook and Insta. Hey Eddie, how you doing? Now before I go on to any other questions, I just want to quickly let everybody know, you probably will have seen this on, in fact, I'm just going to pop it on screen, okay, because I feel like this is important. This is based on something that I have been saying for quite a while, okay? I have been saying this for a while, so this should not come as a surprise to anyone. I'm just going to increase myself here so you can still see me okay. But things are going to be changing. So I started trying out the YouTube channel membership about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, year and a half-ish. And I've decided that, newsflash everyone, and I probably should have said this right at the start, but H, just hold on a second. I'll come on to all the questions in a minute. But tonight, this is probably the last live chat that I may see a lot of you on, like, ever again, unless you're a member of the channel. So this is like a big, like, you're either going to understand or you're going to hate my guts and say, oh, you're just trying to scam us and this and that. And that's not my intention. Just to let you know that after tonight, no more live chats will be available unless you are either a recruit, wingman, pilot, or a commander member of the channel in a way YouTube channel. So it's 99 pence. I think under dollars that works out. I don't know. I'm not sure how it converts in dollars, but if you want to have access to the live chats, you do have to be a recruit member. And in the future, once Elemental version 4 is fully ironed out, I will be starting off a brand new start to finish Elemental web design course with new features. And I'm going to go right to the start of getting your domain, sorting out your emails, sorting out your hosting, all of the prerequisites before you even start to build a website. All of the videos for that will, because it will be a completely new course, will only be available to people who are on commander level, which will be $4.99 a month. Why am I switching over to do it on YouTube? Because by doing it on YouTube and putting the videos there, they will be automatically translated into over 20 languages. And they will be automatically captioned and subtitled. One of the limitations that I've always had with my videos when I've done courses is languages are always tends to be English. The captions are always English. The audio is always English. And sometimes with the video, there's a little bit of a buffer. So you play it and then you got to wait 3 or 4 seconds before it starts to play properly, because it's always a video coming from another CDN service and feeding over to our website. So there's always going to be a bit of a delay or a catch up. By doing it on YouTube, there'll be a dedicated playlist and all of that with codes, with access to stuff, but it will all be restricted to the commander level. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm starting to let people know more and more and more. But today may be the final live chat that I may see a lot of you on. And I hope to still see you. And my live chats could become very lonely places. It will just be me talking, which is kind of how it is anyway. Right, H. Do you think you can make a video about different types of hosting for WordPress? Right. So I have considered this, and there's a reason I have not gone down this road. I always feel like there's a bit of a danger with when I start to talk about hosting or recommending different types. I like to use SiteGround. I use Elemental Cloud Hosting as well. I'll consider it, H, but it is one of those ones where, let's just say I was going to do a video where I was going to talk about 4 different hosting companies, if I'm really brutally honest, I would expect them to contribute or commission me to mention them as well. Because in a way, I'd be freely advertising them and they could benefit from it. Deepak, today I called the Facebook pages that are live on my Facebook page and explained to them about the skill of making a website. The thing is, though, Deepak, you need to wait for the video that's going to come out. I think it's on Thursday coming up, where I talk about something you may want to do. You may want to do because they will be very much. It's going to help you out because by you just contacting companies on Facebook and saying, "Hey, do you want a website? You're going to get this out of it." You're probably going to be one of 100 that have contacted them. So they're not going to see you any differently and they're just going to think, oh, I don't care kind of thing. El Trizi, how you doing? Have you tried Bricks too? Not yet. Not yet. I have read about it. I have heard about it. I think the new components feature's a good move. I have this thing about components, okay? I like them, but I also sometimes feel like, would I use them a lot? Because I like to build things. So if for this website, I'm going to build something a certain way and I want to use it again, I'll just duplicate it. If I've built something on page 1 and I want to use it on page 9, I'll just open page 1, copy, paste over. Because I always find that, when you start to have components that are built via a template route, if you go and make a change and you accidentally change the template or something, you affect everything. And I feel like it's an easy way to get things wrong. So Blizzard says, would it make for WordPress more of an ad for them? I'll turn represent on my website, but phones are hard to get. Can I get those? Can I add those further? Yes, you can. Well, okay, this is where it gets dangerous. If you're going to create an ad for them, as long as you make it clear that if they decline, you won't be using their photos. So make that clear. Don't make them look at you and go, well, hold on a moment. We never gave you permission to use our photos. If we say no to you doing an advert for us, are you still going to use our photo? So make that clear that this photo is an example of what I could do for you. But please don't worry. If you decide not to continue with us, I fully understand, and we will not be using any of your photos going forwards. Just make that crystal clear to them. Blizzard, thanks. I do appreciate that. It is something I've been talking about for quite a while, and I sometimes forget to mention it, but it is something where I feel like loads of YouTube channels do this. Loads of them do it. And when I think about the fact that the amount of live chats I do, and I've got back into the routine of doing more and more and more and giving up time for them, it's almost like, well, got to make something out of it. Eddie, are future courses only available with subscription? Yep, that's going to be the plan, Eddie, because the idea will be, and I'll explain it, okay? So eventually, at some point, Elementor will finish off version 4, I hope, at some... Oh, I've just realized I've got to do something here where I've got to just stop this thing because I've sat down a while ago and it was still counting. At some point, Elementor version 4 will be out, and I'll have to do totally brand new process, methodology, video covering off a whole load more things. I could, if I want, create a brand new course and charge, say, $99, right? And that will be it. And then you get what you get, kind of thing, right? And then you go through it. But you got to go to the website, you got to log in, and then you got to do all that. Or what I will do is I will create loads of videos and start releasing them and drip feeding them through, but they'll be coming through at a regular rate. And the beauty about that is that you'll know when a new one's come out because it will be in a playlist. Not only that, the videos will be available in different languages with different captions, full 4K quality. If there's any code, the links for them will be in the video description. Things will be made clear. And the cost for it will be $4.99 a month. Now, if you think about that, let's just say it took 2 months Because at the moment, the way I had to do it was when I said I was going to do version 2 of the Elemental course, right? I had to wait until I had something like, I think it was like 60 videos, 50 to 60 videos, like done and dusted, recorded, edited, polished, written up, everything, right? Done. And then you release it out. And that's a whole load of info. And that takes time. Like that took a lot of time. That knocked out 2 months of my life, right? It took a lot of time to do. And it was like, oh, I've got to get it done, got to keep up, can't slip. Whereas now I could release, say, when the new version 4 comes out, I might release something like 12 videos, right? And then I'll release 3 every month. And that might mean the course takes 2 or 3 months before you've got all the videos out. Just bear with me a moment, okay? Just hold on. Just my son, he was piano, so just put the volume down a bit. So let's just say it takes 3 months for all the videos to be out. If the commander level over here, right, is $4.99 a month, and you sign up for 3 months, and then when you've got all the course stuff, you then say, right, I'm going to cancel now. I no longer want to be a commander level. I want to go back to recruit or nothing at all. All you've done is spend 5, 10, 15, just short of 15 quid compared to the $99, which would have worked out to be what, £74? So the cost benefit to doing it this way is, well, the benefits are there's loads of benefits, right? Multi-language, multi-audio, and now it becomes way multi-accessible for different people around the world. So I was offering discounts, what's the word? What's the word beginning with P? For payments for different countries. Oh, I should know. I keep forgetting this. Sometimes my brain goes, right? So there was like a reduced parity pricing, right? We had parity pricing. So if you were based in, I think it was Africa, and you were buying with an African address, and I know people could lie because they might have been from Africa, but they lived in America now, whatever. I didn't really care. Parity, right? They paid 30% of the price. If you were in Asia, you paid, I think it was 40% of the price or something like that. Okay, I had parity pricing. But even then, right, 30% of $99 was still $29, right? Which is still quite a bit of money for someone in Africa in some countries. So by doing this $4.99 a month, you know, and if you join it and you don't like it, the most you've lost is $4.99 a month, really. Do you understand what I mean? So, and if you like it, you'll keep up with it. And then I reckon all the videos will be out within 2 to 3 months. But then it does mean that if I want to release member exclusive videos for the course, or when something new happens with version 4, etc., I can do that. And it might be only available to the commander level members. So I'm looking at it from a business angle, which is what I've always wanted to do with the channel memberships. But I've always been a bit like, I don't want to say nervous, but I have been a little bit cautious because you can alienate quite a lot of people. Because like I said, today is the last time, if you are not a member of the channel, that you'll be able to access a live chat. And I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism. I've got myself ready for this because I've had these levels set up for a while now. I just haven't actioned it. And yesterday night, I came up with this idea for this new code snippet that you're going to see tomorrow. And you are going to love it. This generation tool, I don't want to say anything more about it, but this generator is amazing for what it's going to do for a lot of you when it comes to hero banners and stuff like that, etc. Yeah. Hold on, I'm just going to answer the question. Yeah, so I can subscribe to lowest tier, and when the courses are upgraded, is that? And you say, yeah, you can do that, Eddie. That's totally okay. I mean, I'm not going to say anyone is obligated. They have to do it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not the only person who does live chats. So, and this does not change the normal videos I have coming out. I normally have 3 to 4 videos out a week. They're still going to go out. They are not locked away. My standard normal videos I always do all the time, they still go out, right? But the course videos, they won't go out, like probably ever. And I really do mean that. They probably won't ever go out. Even when they're out of date, I won't put them out, because if they're out of date, why would you want to release it publicly? Because that could cause even more damage. Ikmal says, is WooCommerce still a good choice compared to Shopify? Yeah, I think so, because I know a lot of people that use Shopify and then they realize, oh, I want more features, and then they actually leave Shopify to come back to WordPress. I do not know a single person that started with WordPress and went to Shopify. Now, if you know anyone, please let us know. Hey, Pickstar, how you doing? If you know anyone who went from WordPress to Shopify, please say, and can you clarify why? Because I'd love to know the reason for why. Was it because they just got fed up of WooCommerce? I mean, Shopify is easy, but it is very simple as well. And when you really want to advance and expand on it, it's not so good. So Sol says, will there be publicly available videos? Yes, they still happen. They always still go out. But the course videos, future course videos, they're going to be... I haven't got any planned yet because we don't have the final version of version 4. But when the final version 4 is out, that's when I'll start to put some time into the course videos. Blizzard, did you see the whole Star Wars celebration in Japan with the new and all that? No, I haven't. If I'm honest, Blizzard, I haven't. And the reason why is I've just been bogged down with stuff at the moment. I know I do the live chats and all that. Going to Jersey with my son on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back on Monday. So I'm trying to close off a load of things. And then last night I had an idea for a code snippet, and that in effect took away, I would say, 6 hours yesterday. And I'm going to say, give or take, 8 hours today. And now I've got to get back into sorting some stuff out. Yeah, so Eddie says, so from tomorrow, today's the last time, live chats will be members only. So what will happen is it might say Imran's on live chat or member, but it will be members access only. And that could be a bad move, because I might only have one person or 0 people turn up. But then it will be no different to me. A bit like right now, I know I'm responding to comments, but I start a live chat with a bit of an agenda or a topic in mind. So all I'll do is just talk kind of thing. So it won't really be that different. Aquita's just stopping and say, good decision, glad to support. Thanks very much. I mean, it's like a... It's something that's really bothered me in terms of... I know a lot of people do this, a lot. And I've always been very conscious about being like the everyman, if that makes sense. Like... I started off with working class. I still class myself as working class. People look at me and go, "Oh, you're well off, you are." And I go, "No, I still have to work hard." At any time I stop working hard, hey Carapos, at any time I stop working hard, and I just go, "Yeah, let's just chill out," my entire life will just implode. Everything I got, everything I work for, I will suddenly find myself in dire straits and problems and finance issues and hell like that. And then I won't be able to enjoy the things I enjoy and what I do. So I've still got to... I can't just... I don't have that kind of job or lifestyle where I can just take a step back and let other people do the work. And then I just take the profit. Do you know what I mean? So, you still got to work hard. Okay, Blizzard, take care, mate. Hopefully still see you soon. But if not, look after yourself. It's been good fun having you around here. Shit chatting. Aquitus. No, you're not shit chatting at all. Pickstar, how's things with you? How are things in your neck of the woods and how are you doing, my friend? So, I hope you enjoy tomorrow's video. Again, it's one of those things where I said, I released a video 2 months ago where I said I was done with code snippets. And I've jumped back in with a few code snippets still. And the reason being is I have found that I've now created this more concrete fortress barrier in my mind now where I'm like, I just don't care if anyone does not acknowledge or approve or like any code or solution I create. If they want to use their plugin, use your plugin. If you want to use a theme, use your theme. If you don't like the fact that it works on Elementor or Gutenberg or whatever, I don't care. I really don't care, you know? And the whole, like schoolboy football kind of like tactical alpha male kind of positioning that we see all the time on YouTube and over social media outlets, I really just don't care. So I'm like, if I can create something magical, something that moves the dial, makes it easier for you to do something, then that's what I want to keep doing. That's what I'm good at. Finding a problem and finding a different way to solve it. And I had a problem with this code snippet, right? And I was tweaking it this morning and there was a problem that bugged me. And I was like, well, I don't have to solve it. I just won't do that. I just won't do that bit. But it bugged me because I really wanted to do it. Add this extra feature in. Had a shower. I mean, in the shower, an idea came. An idea that when I asked ChatGPT, even ChatGPT was like, wow, that is a pretty good idea. Like, even the way it responded, even it was like, I never would have thought of that. That's like thinking way out the box. Like, this is what ChatGPT was saying. Because what I got it to do, it solved it. Imagine 2 hours last night, 3 hours in the morning, and we're going back and forth. I used Gemini, I used Grok, I used Claude, I used ChatGPT. I was bouncing around, and all of them were just not being able to get it to do it. All of them were tripping up. And then I had this idea while I was having a shower. I was washing my ass. I was like, oh, what is this? In my head, what is this? And ChatGPT was blown away by this idea, and boom, we did it. We did it. Hey, look, Cosmin, no obligation, all right? There's no obligation whatsoever, all right? Just remember that, okay? Keep an eye out, Robert. I've got a new code snippet coming out tomorrow. This is not a groundbreaker. This is an earthquake crater, right? Because this is going to allow you to generate something. I could be wrong, but I am pretty damn sure there is no generator like what I'm going to give you all tomorrow. And by the way, it comes out at midday, UTC +1. So it comes out in, let me get this right, 16 hours. Just under 16 hours time. I don't think there is a generator in this world like what I'm going to give you tomorrow. And it will make it so easy to do something that I know a lot of people have struggled with. And I am happy. I am so ecstatic about it. And I was going to make it even better, right? But I had to call a stop because I was pushing it to its limit, I think. I was pushing it to a limit. Yep, I pulled it out of my butt, old fat trucker. Take care, Aquators. Have a good one. You too as well. All right, take care of yourself. If you ever visit Denmark, I'll invite you, fam. Oh, thank you very much. Maybe I should go around the world one day. I'll tell you what, though. I I struggle to believe that there's no one in my village or Leicester that is a big user of WordPress or Elementor. I always feel like one day, wouldn't it be nice for me to do a live chat one day where I've got maybe 3 or 4 other web designers that live locally, and I introduce them to the world and we just have a chat, like a proper podcast chat, or not? Because sometimes they don't always go so well. Respect, do you believe in God? Quite simple answer. No. I'm one of those people where I have different views of life and stuff like that, but I feel like I don't need religion or tradition or culture or a leader or a man or a person or anyone telling me what's right and wrong. I think I've got pretty good morals and principles and stuff like that. And without sounding disrespectful to anyone here, but a lot of people I know who do follow religion, they have pretty questionable morals and principles and mindsets and behaviors and the way they talk to people, or even backchat or backstab, or just generally, kind of thing. And I know that a lot of people are considered good people, around me or whatever. And people will say, hey, look, so and so, and and they'll look down on me because they know I don't pray, I don't go to the mosque, I don't do none of that, I don't fast, I don't do Eid, I don't do any of that, and I know a lot of people in my family and friends and loads of people, they look down on me for that. But you know what? I'm one of these people where I say, you can look down on me, but I'm happy. And you know what? I'm less likely to backstab you in the back than all of those people who quite happily will do whatever they want to do for themselves, even though they like to class themselves as religious or whatever. So I'm one of these that's very like, I don't trouble you kind of thing, so don't trouble me kind of person. But I like to live a life where I don't feel restricted. I like to live a life where I feel like if I want to do something, because, if you think about life, okay, if you think about things, if you think about, yeah, good point, Eddie. Unsure. I am unsure about when the final version of version 4 will come out. Very, very. I mean, what the only other thing though people do get though is if they book me for a 1-to-1, they get 30% refunded back to them. So if they book me for like 15 minutes, they get 30% refunded. So there are other benefits you do get with that. But like I was saying, with regards to, if you think about when you were growing up, okay, how many times did you want to do something or achieve something and it wasn't wrong? It wasn't illegal. It wasn't immoral. It wasn't nasty. It wasn't hurting anyone, but you couldn't do or achieve or be the person you wanted to be because of religion, culture, tradition, upsetting the elders, following certain rules, right? And I can look at my entire life, my childhood, and I can go through so many things, right, where your life wasn't your life. And I'm like, I've moved on from that, and I prefer to be flexible, to be able to pivot when I need to pivot, to be able to maneuver, to be able to find the best way to navigate life and lifestyles and people and social norms and social expectations the way I need to do it. Whereas religion, culture, tradition, and all of that is going to put you into a bag and go, right, here's where you need to be and here's what you need to do. What are you doing to my drink?
I'm seeing if I'm going to get you a new one.
Could you get me a new one?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect timing. H, with version 4, will you also release videos that would cover dynamic jet engine plugins? No, unlikely. And I'll tell you why. Because I feel like it's a very what's the word? There's a word. It's a very I can't jump. I'm not very good at my words at the minute.
This one was upside down.
Pixar says hello.
You know, open up your new
Pixar says hello. Pixar says hello.
Hello.
He says hello back. I grabbed him. Come here. So what? Yeah. So jet engines and all of that is a very it's a niche. That's the word. It's like a niche, right? So if I was to start using that in a course or exclusive videos, it's only going to be relevant for people that use it, and there'll be a good chunk that don't use it. Secondly, there's a lot more work and understanding required, and they have adapted and evolved a bit as well. And number three, I know they normally commission and pay people for that, so I don't mean to be funny or rude, but if I get a commission, I may consider it. But it takes quite a bit of time to do. Daedalix, it's too heavy, it's bloated. Yeah, I mean, it is heavy, and I'm one of those people where I like to, look at this, look, got a cold new can, unopened. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the bullets, rip to the sound of this. Are you having a dance? Right. So I like to dual wield Bessie. I like to keep the plugins and the methodologies I use, and I think a lot of you can relate to this based on the way I like to do things, is light. You know, don't overbloat your website with too much stuff. And it's the reason why I don't like using rank math. I still have it on some websites, like it's still on the learn.web Squadron one. I just haven't got round to sorting that all out. Sometimes when something is not broken and the bloat it gives isn't a problem, I just leave it. But new websites, I don't like to use things like rank math. I use Slim SEO, and I know some people have had issues with Slim SEO. I haven't had a problem. But, you know, if you imagine rank math is, each one of these is, I don't know, it's quite big in size, right? Imagine that's rank math, right? 10 fingers. Slim SEO is 1 finger. You know, in the comparison and all that. No, Old Fat Trucker, you are right, though. No. So sorry if I said that wrong. Jet Engine is really, really good, you know, and it works fine. It's just, there's always a bit more, like, thinking work required with it. And like Eddie says, yeah, I mean, Elementor, I mean, when I did version 1 of the Elementor course, I did a lot of I did the Elemental bit, and then I did WooCommerce, then I did rank math, then I used Grid Builder and something else. No, I think that was it. And then when I did version 2, I didn't use Grid Builder or WooCommerce or rank math, because I realized, you know, because I was watching the statistics of videos watched, and the Elemental videos were watched, and then when I then went on to doing all the other stuff, they weren't getting as many hits. And I was like, damn, all of that extra work. And that's when I realized, yeah, you know what? You know, people want to learn Elemental. So that's what I do then. To respect, how did you become a web designer? You learn. It's like, how did I become an NHS analyst? You learn. How do you learn to code and do SQL and data mining? You learn. How do you learn to record videos and edit? How do you learn to drink? You just learn. You just learn, mate. And I was interested in it. Like, you know, when I first started experiencing websites in 1997, it was like wow, this is interesting. Take care, Pickstar. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing, Old Fat Trucker, is that a lot of people kept asking me, when are you going to do like a proper, like full-blown Crocker-Block video? And I kept putting it off. And then I did one in January 2024. I think it was January 2024 I did it. Or it might be the year before. I did it. And I did that and it took a long time. And it wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. It was because I was trying to find the best way to approach it. Because I felt like there were so many parts to it. And there were occasions where I made a mistake. And then I had to go all the way back to Jet Engine to sort it out. And I felt like somehow I've got to hide the fact I did that, re-record that bit, make sure I'm dressed in the same clothes as I did when I did that bit. And it was like, because if I'm going to do a video where I'm saying, right, you got to go, do, I don't want to get to like halfway and then go, oh, sorry, made a mistake. Now let's go all the way back. Because if you're watching the video, you will make that same mistake as well. And you'll be like, oh, crap, now I've got to go all the way back and fix all that sort of stuff. You know, and it might take me like 1 hour or 2 hours to fix everything. Can't expect you to go back and fix everything as well. Do you know what I mean? Cheers, Eddie. I mean, they were... I was quite proud of what I eventually achieved with those videos. And I felt like I covered it off as a let me explain this, as a real scenario. So when I did it, I didn't want to treat it like, here's Jet Engine, here's where you go, here's what you do, pros and cons, like it or lump it, here's what you get. Here's JetSmart's filter, da 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 da. I wanted to treat it like we're going to try and create a health and fitness. That was it. It was health and fitness, wasn't it? Training webs. No, health and fitness courses and, you know, sessions. Sorry, sessions website. So I was going through all the stages and then, you know, when you get to your appointments and then when you get to the booking and make it feel like, you know, if you just want to use Jet Engine, you can, and then this is what you do. If you now want to do JetSmart Filter as the add-on, this is why, using what you got. If you now... Sorry. If you now want to do appointments and booking, why would you use that? What's different? And then what would you do? And then there was the Jet Form. I don't think I covered Jet Form. Sorry, I keep using the microphone. I don't think I covered Jet Form in massive detail from what I recall. Or maybe I did. Maybe I did cover bits of it. Oh, I can't remember now. In fact, I can't even remember if that was part of Jet Engine or something. I can't remember. And a lot of it was thankfully down to John Ferris, who nudged me along, goes, go on, Imran, go on, give it a go. But it took a lot of planning. Close to 3 weeks of me trying to plan it out as to how I was going to approach it. Because when you do a project, you know what you want to achieve, so you will do bit by bit by bit, right? But when you do a video tutorial on, say, Elementor or on Bricks or whatever, the tutorial is just for that bit. So you go, okay, Elementor brought out class system. That video is just about the class system. Boom. And everything else is all just padding all the way around. When you though do a Crocker Block video to really make it make sense, you're right, H, yeah, Jet Forms is in there. When you have to make it make sense, you've got to literally go right back to why would you use Crocker Block? Because you've already got Elemental. Why would you need it? Why would you want to spend that much money on it? Doesn't make sense. Why would you go there? Why would you not just spend $50 on a theme or a plugin? That gives you a lot of that. MotoPress, I've done videos on their hotel appointment booking stuff. They're pretty good. What you get for free with the MotoPress hotel appointment booking plugins is bloody good. You know they give you for free the ability to pay via PayPal for their hotel booking or their appointment booking plugins. You know you get that all built in for free. normally you got to go premium on a lot of plugins. So why would you go Crockablock? So there was a lot of like planning that went in, and that really like hurt my brain a lot, to the point where I kept thinking, do I really want to keep doing this? Hi Imran, what days and times do you go live for live chat? I've started doing a few late nights now, like now and again. And I'm going to try to now start scheduling them in a little bit better, because I tend to do them when I want to do them. They usually are in the midday, around 2 to 3 p.m. UTC +1. I'm in Britain, by the way, so we're on British summertime. But I have done a few late night ones, but I am trying to do them at 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Maria says, I bought your first how to build a website course, and there's an updated version. What's different in the new one? Should I modify or just update them? So if you've got access to the old build a website course, you will automatically have access to the new one if you bought it on the learn.websquadron website. The new one, in my opinion, is way better with flex containers and methodology and font clamp and responsiveness and CSS. That being said, Maria, if your website is working, there's no need to change it. Like, seriously, if you're building from scratch, I would always say use the new course, new methods, better ways of building. But if your website works, it's not fallen over, just stick with it. Why reinvent the wheel? Because you're going to get a new version 4 anyway coming out of Elementor, so things are going to change again anyway. Hey, Donald, by the way. So MotoPress often gets spoken about in a bad way. And I've never understood why. Can anyone educate me as to why MotoPress gets such bad press? Now, I don't think I have to explain why GoDaddy and Bluehost get bad press, right? I don't think I have to explain that, do I? We kind of know some of the reasons. But whenever someone mentions MotoPress, I notice this kind of like, ooh. And I don't understand. I've been using WordPress now since 2003. So, I don't know, 22 years. You know, I've been there with when it first came out. I've been there with buying themes every week on Theme Forest. Like, they were $25, $30 a week. And I was buying a new theme here and there and messing around, and, you know, God's sake, it was back and forth, and what about this and what about this? Ooh, this theme looks good. Ooh, that looks good. Ooh, client might like this. But I to this day have never heard or seen a proper explanation as to why MotoPress gets this like snidey look. Has anyone else experienced that? It's a bit like when people go, oh, you use Elementor. And you go, yes, so, oh, but, call yourself a web designer. And I'm like, but you use WordPress. Yeah. I go, call yourself a web designer. Do you know what I mean? We can start to go down that road, you know, and, no names mentioned, but some people, you know, they have said that, you know, if you use a page builder, you know, real coders would not use Elementor and stuff like that. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but real coders wouldn't even use WordPress. If I was going to be really blunt about it, right? It's, how far do we stretch the illusion of what is a web designer? Who has the right to call themselves a developer? So the thing is, Old Fat Trucker, I don't think you will. I think all we're going to get is a different way of doing classes. I have my concerns, though, because I feel like version 4 is missing one major thing. What is the one major thing that version 4 of Elementor is missing? I've mentioned this many, many times, but I want to see how much attention you're all. Hang on, I think there you go. Look, if I hide my eyes, it focuses. If I show my eyes, right, it doesn't focus on the pen because it can see my eyes. right? If I hide my eyes, it focuses. It's weird, isn't it? Something I learned today, actually. I was like, oh, I wonder if I do my eyes. So what I'm going to say is, what's the one thing that is missing in version 4? I'll tell you. Custom CSS. It's missing. Where's the custom CSS? I need to have my custom CSS pane for my elements and my widgets. Give me my custom CSS. I need it. We need it. I don't want to have to keep going to site settings to chuck my CSS in. If I want to do it for that widget element, for that particular widget, I want to do it. God damn it. Michelle says, Australian here, 5:34 a.m. So just, wow. Is it 5:30? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Hold on. Is it 5:34? Yes, you're right. It would be, wouldn't it? Oh, man. Sorry, Michelle. Get back to bed. H says, do you think Bricks 2 is better than the current Elemental? So look, here's what I'm going to say, right? We don't need to have these conversations. Is Bricks, is Elemental, is Gutenberg, is Divi, is Webflow, is Wix, is Squarespace, is whatever, Spectre Quickly, Cadence, you know, Ocean WP, Hello, WooCommerce, Shortcut, FluentCart. We could go round and round and round and round and round and round and round with all of these things, because we could all list down all the things that make Bricks better than Elemental, and then you could throw it back and go, but this is better there, and this and that, and setting and style, and Divi do this, and Breakdance do this, and we can go left, right, center. So I would say it does not matter what anyone else says to you. You will know what you want to use. Dreamweaver, bloomin' heck. Memories. Old Frat Trucker, memories. But I would say, performance-wise, no, I don't think it is. I think too many people refer to Elemental performance based on 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, a million years ago. If you look at Elemental performance now, before you add any code snippet or performance plugin, you will be hitting 100%, right? And the way I see things, right? Again, though, performance, though, is trainers as well, right? I got Nike trainers, I got Reebok, I got Adidas. Which one is better for running performance? Do you see what I mean? So we can say, but I mean performance. Oh, no, I'm talking about classes. Oh, no, I'm talking about the internal, external CSS and the loading of web fonts and all of that. Either way, right? Someone who loves Nike is always going to say Nike is the best for running. Someone else who loves Adidas will say, no, Adidas is way better. And someone who loves Reebok is going to go, no, Reebok is better. So I always feel like wear, use, drink, eat, study, learn, do what, use what you want to use. It's like saying, what's the best toilet? What's the best toilet right now for me to take a shit in? What's the best toilet? What's the best company? Right? I mean, someone's going to come along and go, no. You might like that, but it's too small for my backside. And someone else will come along and go, no. That's too big. If I sit on there, I'm falling in. And I don't want to fall in and have to take a shower straight afterwards. Do you get what I mean? Me and my analogies. You know, you could create an entire universe with my analogies. I like Gary, you make a good comment, by the way. You do that's the absolute truth of it, right? You know, and also it gives the person, the client, some security knowing they can look after it in the future too. I like what Old Fat Trucker said there. You know, real programmer with the experience. You know, and still use WordPress and Elementor. And that's the thing, though. I mean, I've lost count of how many times people have said to me that, you know, I bet you're not good at coding because you use Elementor. And I sort of just look at them and go, yeah, you keep thinking that if you want to think that. But if I could show you some of the stuff I programmed, right, for the NHS with regards to SQL and all of that. Sorry, I felt like one of my veins had popped then for a minute, and luckily it hadn't. In a bad way. Some of the stuff I did with stored procedures and programming and stuff for the King's Fund tool and everything in the NHS healthcare in UK. If I could just show you some of the machine learning stuff, you're talking about LLMs and all of that, but if I could show you some of the machine learning stuff that I created 12 years ago, your brain would explode. Predictive modeling, right? I was doing that in 2010. No, 2009. No, it's 2010. No, it's 2009. No, it was 2010. Right. Michelle says, I started web design in 2011, all code, and moved to WordPress in 2011. I love Elementor, but yes, yeah. I'm so glad you agree. Custom CSS, right? I hope they're going to release it, but if they never are, that really will piss me off. Because that changes the way now I have to keep putting all the code into site settings. When you put code into site settings, and it was specifically for this element, not the entire site, this element, you feel detached. Do you know what I mean? Because I like to do it on the element so that when I can tweak it, I can see the changes happening there and there. Yep, looking at it, sorting it. When you go to site settings, you don't always see your page. Sometimes you see like a hello version of the page or a hello dummy page. I don't like that. Donnell, tonight's headline, Imran compares page builders to toilets. That should be I should replace today's so when people do podcasts, they take a statement, don't they? And that becomes the title for the video for the podcast. There's something like, I was fired. And then just because they said it, and that becomes the title, and you're watching the video, and oh God, he's going to talk about when he was fired. You sit there waiting. And then it gets to the part and he goes, right, it was really hot one day and I went out and I was fired. And you go, huh? That's not what I thought it meant. But that's kind of like Imran compares page builders to toilets. But imagine that was the title. I bet loads of people would watch this going, he's gonna have a go at page builders, he is. He's gonna give it to them. He's gonna take his fist and he's gonna ram it up and say, take that. And they're gonna watch it and go, it was nothing to do with that. So I do hate that too, Sol. Sometimes like, do you know what kind of videos I watch a lot of? Guess what kind of videos I watch a lot of when I'm stepping in the morning? What kind of videos do you think I watch from YouTube? What kind of videos do you think I watch? I'll let you guys have a think about that. No. No, not cat videos. Sol says podcasts. Visual says, do you know something? Now and again, when a video pops up, I can't help but watch it. Some of my favorite ones are when there's like a clip from Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. The Wrath of Khan. I mean, I tell you what, whenever like certain scenes, when there's a clip in like 4K remastered, upscaled, I can't help but watch it. And I feel like the scene that always gets me right. There's a few scenes that, I mean, I love Star Wars is my baby, the one I love the most, right? Yeah. And I love Marvel, I love sci-fi and all that. But there are some scenes in Star Trek, like, for me, it's like the scene where, when Carol and Kirk first go into the Genesis cave and you see it all. I love that scene. The scene where like Savick says to Spock, oh, you lied. I love that scene and all of that. When they beam them back because they lied because Khan was hearing. I mean, of course, the end scene. That scene where like they escape and they're all clapping and feeling happy or they're feeling good. And then, Kirk gets the comm where it goes, you better come down, you know, and he turns and he looks and he realizes something's up. Ooh, that, you know, the music. The music that plays, it's like it's ramping up. That music that ramps up as he's racing to get to the engineering part. That really, like, that rush of emotion, and it always reminds me of that feeling. I remember me and loads of other people, because I was 7 years old when I first saw that film, and that rush of emotion, right? Oh, that was good. IT Crowd, he says. IT Crowd. I loved IT Crowd. I loved that show. House music, news. Right, I'll tell you what I like watching, and I'm going to pop it up here. Podcasts. In fact, I should point my finger. Where is my finger? That one. Podcast. So like Diary of a CEO with Steve Bartlett. You know, loads. The Future. I like to watch a lot of podcasts because I always like to watch and listen and absorb. And I might not be watching them. I'll be working over here, and I'm working away, but I've got it playing and I'm listening in on leaders, experts. You can call them what you want. Oh, rich people, you know, aristocrats, whatever you want to call them, right? Okay. But I love to learn and listen. Yeah, Diary of a CEO. You know, some of the stuff you pick up and you go, oh, that's what I'm doing. Or sometimes there was stuff you hear and you go, that's good. Didn't think of that. And that's why I've decided to go all in on this with the channel membership. It was going to happen, and I've got to do it, because you have to realize that 99% of what I produce is always going to go out there and be free. The YouTube videos, the stuff I do, that's always going to be there. But there has to be something else you do where you got to make something back for yourself. And I feel like I had to go all in on the channel membership side of things as well, a little bit like that. But there's so many, I have this problem with my brain going dead on me regularly. It's nothing to worry about, but I keep forgetting Cody Sanchez, right? She's another one. I like watching her stuff. Young and Profiting with Talahaha. Talahaha. I'm getting her name now. Talahala. I'm getting her name wrong now. Tamara Gabriel. She's a good one. You know, there are certain people. Alex Hormozy, right? I like to watch his stuff. Alex Hormozy. What's the other one? Gary V, right? I like to watch his stuff, okay? Because he just says it like it is, okay? And I am nothing like Gary V, but sometimes when I go into like a rant or I feel like irritated or angry, and I apologize when I go into full expletive, effing and blinding and fuck this and fuck that and this is shit and that is shit and why are you doing this? And I really go into like full-blown attack mode sometimes. That's a bit of the Gary V coming out of inside of me, kind of there. Do you know what, mate? Donal, I'm just going to give a good mention, right? Yeah, as a kid, I used to love, you know, as the Naked Gun, and I used to love watching the Police Squad, you know, I mean, yeah, that was always a good thing. Old Fat Trucker, dead brain, just showing your age. Oh, mate, I feel like I've had dead brain for the last 20 years. There are times where I'm like, right, I'm going to do X. And then I pick up my pen and I go, what was I going to do? And I sit there, like, just staring. What was I going to do? And I could do something else, but no. I need to remember what I was going to do. And maybe it was to just pick up the pen. Like, pick up the pen, right, pick up the pen. And you go, why did I pick up the pen? Did I pick this up for a reason? Welcome to the Web Squadron ASMR channel. You know, that kind of thing. H says, can you please share the link to your subscription course? That's not out yet. So the subscription course is not built yet. There's no date timeline planned. You don't have to go for the $4.99. I'm not telling anyone to get anything on here, right? You don't have to get anything on here. I mean it. Seriously, you don't have to at all. But if you do, book me for a one-to-one call for maybe website problems or business productivity, prep talk, stuff like that. Sort things out. You get 30% off. But I've said it. Hulk Hogan. Yeah. I said it earlier, and I have to say it now because I think some other people have joined. Today is the last time there will be a free live chat. The live chat we're doing now. This is the last time. This is it. Which is also one of the reasons I did want to go live tonight. This is the last one. After that, they'll only be open to members. A lot of people are not going to like that. I know this. And I'm going to get a shitload of heat and hatred for it. And I think I could end up losing subscribers. That's the pain you got to go through. I like it that I have lots of subscribers, but subscribers does not mean income. All right. A lot of subscribers don't return to watch videos. All right. Viewer rates isn't massive. So you could have 1 million subscribers, but someone who only has 100 subscribers or 1,000 could be making more in terms of sponsorships and stuff like that based on the number of views they get. That's the way it works. People think it's based on the number of subs. It ain't based on that. And I know I'll get a bit of heat and hatred, and if people want to leave, then they got to leave. But what I want to remind people of is 98, 99% of the videos I put out are still going out. Do you get what I mean? They're still going out. Can I say something about this, right? And it's not about your comments, Sol, but I want to come back onto something about this, right? Okay. Mr. Beast gets views regardless. He could put out a video of him just sat on a chair and he'll get millions of views, right? But I do want to say, right, my son loves Mr. Beast. And I never really, I knew he was successful and Minecraft and all the stuff he does and, the Beasticles and Beasties food or whatever, and all of that stuff, right? Okay, I get that. But I never had much time from him. And then on Saturday, no, not Saturday, on Friday, I watched one of his interviews with Steve Bartlett, Diary of a CEO. And it's the one he did. I think he did it about 3 months ago. And in it, he spoke a little bit about his growing up, relationship with his mum and dad, and he didn't talk a lot about it. He talked about the food, his love for Walmart. He talked about his Crohn's disease. He talked about his aims of what he wanted to achieve and time, and how he doesn't have time to do a lot of things because you have to jump around and go here and go there and do that. And I related more to him than I ever have before. And all of a sudden, my respect for him went like that. Like it shot up through the ceiling. And all of a sudden, I was like, he needs to tell us, he needs to show this side of him more. Because what we see is, hey, I'm going to go sleep in a pyramid, and I'm going to do the beast games, and yeah, we're going to go play Minecraft, and we're going to now say, hey, if you touch this car and you take your finger off, you win £1 million and this and that, and and all of that. And you could almost argue that's a little bit like me. When I go crazy on the live chats, or I start effing and blinding, or going, let's do this and let's do that, and WordPress this and Elemental that, and all this sort of stuff. There's another side to me. So much stuff I've never spoken about publicly, and I felt like, wow, he is a real person. He's not that side that a lot of people see, that's just a gimmick. That's just to get the views. That's just a persona. But the real him, I could sit down if I've had the chance just to sit down, you know, around the fireplace, eating like a steak and kidney pie, sharing chips with a drink or whatever, I could have a proper chat with him. And all of a sudden I was like, the real people. And that's sometimes what you don't always get or see from content creators, YouTubers, influencers, people, you know, because there's a lot of personas put out there. Now, when I do tutorials, I do act a different way because you might not know me. You might be a brand new viewer. I hope you subscribe and come back and watch more, or you sign up for our course or get a guide or something, or you stick around. So I need to convince you that I'm the real deal. I'm not faking it to make it. But when you come on the live chat, we have a bit more fun, don't we? We have a bit more of a laugh. We loosen up a little bit. But there's also a deeper side to me that I could go into, and I may do just for the members. They will be special member only deep Imran chats that I will only ever release on for members, because I feel like that's maybe not for the world. That's only going to be for members, because there's so much that has gone wrong for me in my life and growing up that has shaped me to be who I am and the way I am, and why I wouldn't say I'm like protective over where I go and what I do, but sometimes I think I am, in that I like to be careful of who I associate with, why I associate, because I just need to be careful. And it's not because of anything bad, but it's because I hate to feel like I have to be somewhere because I've been made to be somewhere. Because when you grow up, you don't have as much control, and your family dictate a lot. When you're in school, your school dictate a lot. When you work and you have certain types of bosses, as I did, and managers, you have to be in certain places. But when you have freedom and you're at home, or you're outside, or you're going shopping, or you're getting something to eat or drink, or what you're working on or what you're buying, that's when it has to be my time, what I want to do, not what you want me to do, unless there's a reason why you're telling me to do it, because we're doing it together. So if we're doing something together, you have to park sometimes what you want to do. We always have to compromise sometimes, right? A little bit. But when someone who has no right to make you do something gets into your head or your heart and either manipulates or uses a guilt trip to steer you towards doing something, that's when I lose interest, because I believe that you're better off controlling what you want to do and how you want to do it, because you're going to enjoy it more than when someone tells you to. Like I'm going to tell him, now, have you brushed your teeth today? Come here and show the camera your teeth. Come close and show the camera your teeth. Go towards the camera, show them your teeth. Closer. Closer.
I'll have to lean on a desk.
Sorry, he's going to crack the screen if he does that.
What?
No, what? Said you're going to crack the screen. Stop leaning on the table, god damn it. God damn it. Right, it is, wow, it's 9 o'clock. Right, I'm signing off now. By this point in the time of the day, I do start to feel quite tired. Unless I'm watching a movie or a TV show where I want to watch it, I do start to go, right, okay, I'm going to call it a day now, jump into bed. However, I'll probably be on my phone for a good 2 to 3 hours. You know, whoever really goes to bed and actually goes to bed? Who actually does that? All right, everyone, I'm going to jump off now. Okay, thanks for being here. If this is the last time I see any of you on a live chat, I want to say that I really do appreciate you being here. the fun we have, the conversations we have. I hope to still see some of you. I'm not asking you to become members. I want to make that clear. You got to be a member. You got to join, right? You do you. Like I said, you do what you want to do. And you're not going to miss out much. Look, let's be honest, right? The live chats, you know, it's not like we sit here going over special methods and special tricks. And sometimes I do, but not all the time. But please don't feel obligated to sign up for anything. All right, everyone, I'm going to jump off now. Take care. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow. My name's Imran from Web Squadron. See you all later. I'm going to go finish this.